Welcome to Eyes and Teeth, Kevin Dean. Kevin Dean and I became acquainted within the Grand Order of Water Rats, which is a show business charity over 130 years old, which included members including Danny Kaye, Charles Chaplin, Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, Tommy Cooper, Charlie Chester, Les Dawson, Keith Harris, and those still with us today such as Rick Wakeman, Alfie Boe, the Hairy Bikers, Steve Hewlett. Who? Well, it is a who's who in the order. We look out for fellow entertainers who have fallen on hard times, and we also help out the Royal Variety Charity as well as countless nominated charities including children's charities. It's an entertainer's way of giving back, which is always great for us. I digress. Kevin Dean and I have performed on many of these benefit shows. We're planning our own for the Rats in the near future, but Kevin and I got even closer during the lockdown years. Upon Zoom, we done interviews, we recorded songs and jingles, sketches and so much more, and you can hear Kevin's magic during this very podcast, as he is the producer of Eyes and Teeth, the jingles and the theme tune itself, all from the head of KD Productions. So now it's time for you to get to know the man behind the music of 2 Meter Peter, 1 Meter Rita. Welcome to Eyes and Teeth, the world's greatest variety show, Kevin Dean.
Hi, Steve. Greetings.
Oh, it's great to see you, mate. Now, I've told everybody what you do. I want you now to tell us what you do. Now, I've been to Moth's house. When I say Moth, that's short for mother. And you go around there quite a lot. Moth. Oh, is it Moth?
Moth. See, Moth for mother, Fav for father. People do say Moth, but it's not. It's Moth.
Oh, I see. It is Moth. Because every time she opens the fridge, she's there because there's a light there and Moth is there. That's what I thought that meant. Because every time I go around there, she opens the fridge and she magics up a wonderful meal for us every time. And she's adorable, your mum. I love her. And so every time I've gone around there, I've looked up on the wall and I've seen a great photo of you as a kid with a guitar. You've been a part of this business because your parents weren't in show business, like my parents weren't in. But my dad loved music. I was always around music. So did your parents play music and you thought, oh, I like the sound of that, I want to learn? So how did it start for Kevin Dean?
It started, I just remember this sound coming through their hi-fi, the old classic Sony hi-fi.
Yes.
Of this haunting stratospheric sound, which was the electric guitar. And more often than not was the Fender Stratocaster. So it would be the Shadows. It would be these 60s records, you know, Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, Everly Brothers. And I just remember being, my heart was drawn so much towards this frequency of sound. And I remember literally fantasizing about just even touching an electric guitar or even acoustic guitar, just to touch it would be. And inevitably they got me one from a birthday for Christmas, actually, acoustic guitar. I think I had a little plastic one first. That's probably the one you saw the picture of me with. I think the picture you saw of me was with a little music box when I was a baby.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which I won a baby competition and you won a photo shoot. And I held a little, that was one of my early musical experiences, one of my first showbiz experiences.
So you were holding a music box.
Yeah.
And you was a baby. That's how far it goes back. That's incredible. That's probably the earliest one of my Eyes and Teeth guests have gone back to actually being connected to what they do now.
That's right, yeah. So, well, it must be some sort of synchronicity that you're just sort of drawn towards these things which pull you into that life for the rest of your life. People have interests and it's just a natural draw, isn't it? You know, follow your intuition, follow the things that you're attracted to. So this frequency of sound, I received the electric guitar, acoustic guitar first for Christmas, and then started to sort of self-teach, really. And I always remember my parents sort of speaking to each other, sort of saying, listen, Frank, listen, he's playing little tunes, he's picking little tunes out of his guitar. So I was just even sort of composing I wasn't that young. I was probably about 9, probably, when I got the guitar. So I wasn't starting at like 3 or 4.
Yeah, but 9's a good age to start. Yeah, the ventriloquist would start around that time. The magician's ventriloquist, 9 to 12. I was 12 when I started playing with dolls, but you were playing with the guitar. 9 is a good age to start, and actually to get to a good, by the time you're a teenager, you actually must be good at chords and things.
Well, I had a few lessons when I was really young, or in my early teens, but really, I'm basically self-taught. And I was just fascinated by the the wiring under the board of the musical sphere, not just guitar playing, but how the mathematics, the sort of cosmic universal equation of harmony and music. So I studied that. When I say studied, I didn't, well, I did have some books. This is well before the internet, obviously. But just, I used to wake up with these kind of enlightened moments of, oh, that's why that orchestration works. That's why people get shivers when they hear these particular chords. So the workings of music really fascinated me. And really, I think the guitar is more of a tool. I mean, I'm a guitarist, obviously, that's what I do, tool of my trade, but I'd always sort of more class myself as a musician rather than a guitarist. I mean, it could have been the piano, could have been something else, but guitar is my first instrument. But as I said, initially, I was drawn towards the guitar sound, and then the fascination of music theory hit me.
That's amazing. And there are pieces of music that is created on the electric guitar, and correct me if I'm wrong, if that's not the right term, but I'd say Still Got the Blues is one of those hairs on the back of the neck, you know. I still got the blues, for not only his vocal, but the way he plays that guitar. And I know we've lost him. The artist has Still Got the Blues.
Gary Moore.
Gary Moore, of course. And bless him. Yeah, we lost him at quite a young age, but Still Got the Blues. That song, for instance, are there any others that do that to you? You know, hairs on the back of the neck. Wow, I love the sound of this. And I know you've recreated some of those great sounds.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dire Straits, I grew up listening to. My parents didn't so much play that, but I got into Dire Straits. And the strange thing is, this will seem kind of complete and utter backpedaling now, but I've always said I'm not really into guitar music. That's the strange thing, right? Well, the initial pull of getting me into this for this life was that magical time when I just wanted to touch a guitar. But since I started playing it, I kind of drifted off into more electronic music and sort of ambient, new age type, synthetic, mystical music rather than guitar. So I've never really wanted to have. Obviously, I had guitar heroes per se, but I wasn't a guitar fanatic. Sure. But to answer your question, I mean, you know, people will say, oh, Hotel California, Sultans of Swing. I was never, I mean, yeah, Dire Straits. I love Dire Straits.
Yeah, brilliant.
But I can't really think offhand any particular cracking guitar solo which sends shivers, although they will happen on certain days at certain times, depending on how you feel.
Yeah, I guess it's just me then. Yeah, I mean the Shadows, the Dire Straits, they're the records my dad would play. Guitar wise, that would be, you know, that would be the music I grew up to. It was the Beatles, it was the 60s, Rolling Stones. But I would listen to Roy Orbison. I mean, he played the guitar really well, and obviously the harmonica as well. I love the sound of a harmonica. You get Stevie Wonder, John Lennon, you know, the great sounds. Do you like the harmonica? Do you play that?
I don't play that. I've got one in a drawer somewhere, and I appreciate it. And I've used them. People have played them on records and things. But talking about these shivers down the spine moments with guitar, I mean, it can happen suddenly out of the blue. So recently, I discovered the Pink Floyd number, "Comfortably Numb."
Oh,
do you know it?
I don't. I'm just writing it down though.
I hadn't really. I'd heard of it for years, but it's just absolutely amazing. And I discovered it. My dear friend Cole passed away recently, and he had that at his funeral. And I thought, well, oh my God, what a song this is! And since then, I've been looking at it online, live versions, and that definitely hits the spot for what you're saying. But this is recent. This is of the last few months.
Oh, it's amazing.
Discover, you know, a new song.
Yeah, synchronicity of music. It is such a great sound. Now we'll get onto that now because you're teaching now, aren't you? So you've got a lot of students that come around and you're teaching.
Teaching is something I've always done, Steve. It's something I've always it's been like 1/3 of my job.
Okay.
1/3 being the variety. That's how I know you, of course, and another third being the music production and the recording and record labels, and teaching is the other third, which is interesting because you meet so many people, and it's more of a psychological, you know, exercise really. I'd say 80% is psychological, teaching people how to accept their own ability and not sort of put themselves down, have patience, and 20% is guitar playing. So there's quite an art in teaching guitar and music theory.
Yeah,
because people,
patience.
you know, they will easily, I see it so much. People kind of beat themselves up over so-called failing on doing something not right, and you've got to say, well, no, it's not. And you get them on a path where in the end they believe, and I get the most out of them to their full potential, which is so important.
Eyes and teeth. Yeah. Do you think, I do believe this, but music and spiritualism, I mean, you're very spiritual yourself, not spiritualism, but your music, you're a very spiritual person, and, meditation, all that sort of thing. Does that all come into one?
Well, yeah, I don't meditate, but I do make meditation music.
That's right, yes.
And I've, been commissioned before to do the soundtrack to a Reiki album, and lots of my Energy Your Love releases are that mystical sound. So yeah, there is something about the music of the spheres, which is that mathematical equation, which has every connection to do with DNA, the planets, the water, the vibration of life. So it's all very much connected. Very Pythagoras. I mean, Pythagoras was very much into mathematics and music and spirituality.
Wow.
So it's very interesting.
Incredible. Wow. There's words I've never heard before. And the Moggies as well. Of course, I've just seen a cat walk past you. You've made some music, not music for cats, but it's cat music. Can you explain the album that you made?
Interestingly enough, I've not mentioned this to you, and again, it's synchronicity. Yeah, I recorded, there was an album back in '95 called Spirit of the Cat, which was actually cassette only. And then in 2005, I released Mogology.
Yes.
Music for cats and cat lovers. And that was a big hit. I mean, I think it was number 3 in the Tesco chart under that genre at one point, and it's continued to sell, but it's only ever been on CD. Funny enough, I'm just in the process of remastering for a digital release. Because people have asked me for years, why isn't Mogology on Spotify and streaming and iTunes? So that'll be released. I think it's going to be beginning of May. But yeah, so that's, you bringing that up is interesting, because it is going to be available on a wider scale now, rather than. And what it is, it's an album of 10 numbers dedicated to cats. And Mogology is a term I kind of created to cover the behavior of cats, really, and all the things that cats do.
Brilliant.
So that's been quite good, revisiting that.
We had a cat for 21 years. Tippy, her name was. She had a
amazing
tail. We're really good at making up names. And she had like 33 kittens, I think. She was the local bike. She would go out and she'd come back pregnant. Just like my sister. So
That's incredible.
I'm not saying which one, because the joke ends there and they can fight between themselves. So it's amazing, really. Now, we got to meet in the Grand Order of Water Rats, but since then, I see you so many times. I love working with you. I love being in your company. You're such great company. I've been to your home, Pixie Cottage. We love it there. My kids have been to your home, and Nina. And for Eyes and Teeth, if people are wondering what the sound is when we're recording Eyes and Teeth, that's my 2 daughters in your home recording the theme, the soundtrack of that.
Yeah,
and that was a fun day.
It was. I mean, you've been to my house several times on many occasions, socially and for working. But that particular occasion when we recorded that, when you approached me and said about a theme tune, another thing is, I digress for a second, but I very rarely sit down and kind of write a piece. It's just like, as soon as somebody says something, it just appears like a channel. So when you said what it was, Eyes and Teeth, I instantly imagined this kind of, there it is. And I picked the guitar up and kind of created that out of the blue, really. And so I recorded that jingle. But I kept hearing these girls' voices, young girls' voices, children, eyes and teeth. And I said that to you. I said, the only people going to do it could be two girls, and maybe Nina or maybe all of you. And of course, you did come round. And of course, children being children, bless them, they get a little bit microphone shy.
Yeah.
So I kind of did a little studio technique and kind of conned them into performing, which worked perfect. I mean, I think what I did, I said, well, I'm not recording, but I just need to sound check it. Just do eyes and teeth. Just, I won't use this one. And they went eyes and teeth, and that was it. Got them straight away.
You recorded it. Well done. Deviation. I love it. Oh, that's wonderful. And we got it. We bagged it. And do you know what? Every time I listen and edit a podcast, nearly 200 now, I listen to my daughters, and I'm putting that little piece in, and it makes me feel so warm that I'm not only have really enjoyed an hour's podcast with someone, a special guest, but I get to listen to your music playing, and I smile every time. I think Kevin's done this for me. I love that. I love the fact that I can hear my daughters and Nina, my wife, singing eyes and teeth. They were there. That they were in this creation. They were there when I was in the lockdown. This all come out of the lockdown. So I've asked them to be quiet. I've locked them in rooms. I've locked myself away when we were in a flat. Then we moved to a house. So they've been there since the beginning of this podcast. And they know that Steve's recording, Daddy's recording. For my birthday, I even got recording the podcast, Keep Out. That was like a door on the doorknob, and Nina bought me that for like Valentine's Day. So they are such a huge part of it, but to hear their voices in it is wonderful. So thanks for including them in your recording studio. And they loved it there because they were surrounded by cats.
That's right. They love the cats. Yeah, the cats loved seeing them. So that all made a difference to the recording process, you see, doing that with cat influence. True mogology. See, they always influence. They do. Cats are very good around you. They do have a very calming effect.
Yeah.
I don't always have them up here when I'm working because, you don't know, some people may not prefer the company of cats when you're recording. Although it's not commercial studio, it's purely for my productions, but people do come in, or people I, choose to work with, and they're often about. I mean, walking across, like you said before we started, she knows not to do it now, so that's good.
Oh, well, she knows it says on air outside, so she won't come in. Oh, bless her. I got in touch with you when we all got locked in our homes. 2020, it's probably March. It's when it happened straight away. I said, Kevin, we need to do something. Can we do something? So me and Nina started to do this. We Are the World. I mean, who didn't do firstly podcasts or record a We Are the World version? So we did do it.
Yeah. I remember that. Oh, you can't, obviously your listeners can't see because this is an audio, but I actually wore this exact same cardigan on that video.
Did you? Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that. That's on YouTube now. So we posted that and recorded friends from all over the world. Even Jay Osmond from the Osmonds were on it, and Gary Levine, and I think most of those people now are on my podcast because I call them back again. Oh, I'm doing this now. So We Are the World. We'll play a little bit of that now because you're on right at the end. I believe you finish on a beautiful guitar piece on that. So we'll play a little bit of that.
We are the world, we are the children. We are the ones to make a better day, so let's start living. Yeah, there's a choice we're making. Yeah, we're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a brighter day for you and me. Let's hear you sing it. We are the world, we are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day, so let's start living. Yeah, there's a choice we're making. Oh, we're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day for you and me.
Ice and Steve. I don't know if I bugged you or if I am bugging you, but I asked if how did this come up, the 2 meter Peter thing? Did I bring that up? Or did you say, let's do a song? I think you said, let's do a song.
I think I did. I think it was, I was going to say King Arthur, Arthur Lager.
Yeah, he is
King Arthur's
in his
another
own
cat,
mind.
getting mixed up between the Arthurs. I had this, again, a vision of Arthur Lager singing a song. I think I said, why don't we do some kind of lockdown type song, 2 meter Peter or something like that. And we sort of developed it from there. You wrote the lyrics, didn't you? And come up with all the I think I did the music first, and then I said put some to it. And of course, Nina was singing beautifully, and it just suddenly happened, not overnight, but quite quickly, if I remember. Sort of thrown test pressings back and forth.
It did, yeah.
We had a problem with recording, didn't we? Because
I did, because we had no. Nina bought me a microphone, and that's why the podcast and the We Are the World and everything started to come together. Because she said, I bought you a microphone. We're in lockdown. We're just about to run out of money. Do something with that. So so we got a microphone, and it started to sound a bit better. And so Nina re-recorded and tried to get it as best as we could before we got it to you, because we weren't allowed to come to your studio.
No, and then we mixed it together and put it out.
Peter, listen and he will save your life. 2 meter Peter, 2 meter Peter, he's now requested a 2 meter wife.
You may see him in a queue, and as the artist goes a little for sure, but he won't dare get close to you because he's avoiding a hospital ward. Every day he connects with his friends on WhatsApp, house party, and loved ones on Zoom. He just wants a hug, but instead he'll host a quiz from his living room.
2 meter Peter, 2 meter Peter, he always obeys Boris Johnson's rules. 2 meter Peter, 2 meter Peter, protect the NHS or you're all fools.
He stays at home and cooks all day, each morning working out, keeping up with Joe Wicks. He's binged on all of Tiger King, now he's watching Afterlife, it's back on Netflix.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais, he's the best. The show is heartwarming and hilarious. It's so good he's watched it thrice. To anything about it takes your mind off the outside world and puts all our worries on ice. 2 meter Peter, 2 meter Peter, he's done a duet with Gary Barlow. 2 meter Peter, 2 meter Peter, singing with Matt Lucas, thank you, Dank Potato.
So if you want a hug 2 meter Peter, then send it in a virtual way. Just always keep your paces, please, and that's exactly 2 meters away.
2 meter Peter, 2 meter Peter, he's wearing his gloves, his hat and his mask. He's 2 meter Peter, 2 meter Peter, he drinks hot lemon tea in his flask. 2 meter Peter, 2 meter Peter, listen and he will save your life. 2 meter Peter, 2 meter Peter, he's now requested a 2 meter wife. That was great fun.
Yeah, fancy a hug?
Yeah, go on then. Oh, no, wait. You're not listening. It's 2 meters.
Who's Peter anyway?
We're all Peter.
And at the time, it got quite a lot of publicity, didn't it? And various
Yeah,
radio things you did. I remember you did the
James Whale
show. And,
yeah,
they
bless
played
him.
the full track.
Yes, and the BBC ones, they didn't. Some of them played parts of the track, but it was to try and raise funds for the NSPCC, trying to do good at that time, weren't we? And it's difficult because everybody at that time was doing something, you know, and they're going to play Gary Barlow over Arthur Lager, sadly. And it's what it was at the time. And then So I was just sort of looking for more ideas. But 2 Meter Peter was so much fun. We've done competitions and got people to dance, and we made a video as well. And you got involved in that. That was fun.
And then a few months later, we did another one, didn't we?
We did, because it went from 2 meters. The 2 Meter Peter premise obviously was because of the government was telling us to stay 2 meters apart, and then we were gutted because they started to say we're going to have to make it 1 meter apart. And
more or less on the release of the first.
Yes. We released the first record, then they changed it, and then Kevin Dean, being the magical musical mind that you are, said, "Don't worry about it. Let's make 1 meter Rita. We need a B-side."
Yeah.
And I think musicality wise, I think Nina is even better on the second record, and the music is more up tempo, and I think the music's even better in the second one.
I prefer the second one.
But I love going back again, listening to the first one, because that is our lockdown experience. Again, my daughters are in the video of that. We made some fun videos in the garden, but mate, I really enjoyed that time with you. It was a scary time for the world, but we were in our own minds, we were in our own space, but me and you were connected, I think, more than anybody during the lockdowns. I have that infinity with you because it was these things that we recorded, and then we started to do the podcasting. So you've always been there. You've been in my home every day for 3 years without being here.
I mean, funny enough, I listened to that on the way to London recently. Both tracks I listened to, and it actually brought back, music can bring back feelings and memories and things, or literally vibes at the time. And it all come back flooding, that feeling of this surreal time on Earth when we were told not to do anything and not go out, just by listening to those tracks, because we were working on them so much in the studio during that time, and having a look on the news to see what they're saying next and all this business. And so. Yeah, probably a few weeks ago I did listen to it again, and it is good to revisit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Maybe
it was going to be a trilogy, wasn't it? But we never got around to the 3.
It was. Well, there's still time, but I do believe. Is it good to revisit that time? I don't know if it is. If people want to be taken back to it, but it's such a funny song. I mean, it is lyrically wise. Nina helped me synchronize it with the music, and she's so good at that with her mind. But you produced the whole thing, and both the songs have got stories, and they kind of move on from the 2 meters to the 1 meter. And we talk about Matt Hancock and Matt Lucas that was making videos, and everyone was watching Afterlife. So we mixed. I wrote the lyrics so it all fit in. We're going to play them obviously on this. You would have heard some already, but we're going to play 2 Meter Peter and 1 Meter Rita, and you'll hear that within this show. And that's our experience with Kevin Dean.
Rita, she's wearing her mask, she's in disguise. 1 Meter Rita, 1 Meter Rita, I can tell what she's thinking when I look in her eyes.
So long at home, she's missed her friends. The gossip, the chit-chat, she's feeling alone. Now she can't meet them at the beach. She needs to reconnect and put down her phone. Hopes of lockdown easing has helped, but her Spanish all-inclusive is now fading away. She's now got to cope with the 4-month staycation UK holiday.
1 Meter Rita, 1 Meter Rita, theme parks are open but the gyms are a no. 1 Meter Rita, 1 Meter Rita is off to a theatre but there is no show.
She plans a trip to the museum to see things, don't touch things, or she'll risk her health. Or ride a roller coaster alone, but that's not having fun when she's sat by herself. She's so happy to finally get out. She really loves her man, but she needs her own space. 3 months of box sets and wine is enough, and after 20 years she's sick of his face.
1 Meter Rita, 1 Meter Rita, she's climbing the walls, sends the kids back to school. 1 Meter Rita, 1 Meter Rita, she's quit the Zoom quiz for a nice pub crawl.
So if we all can stay 1 meter's distance, we can start to have a normalish day. And don't forget to wash your hands and hugging in your phone.
out at the shops, not staying inside. Juanita Rita, Juanita Rita, she's tired of the news and Matt Hancock slides. Juanita Rita, Juanita Rita, listen to the updates, you'll know what to do. Juanita Rita, Juanita Rita, she's happy it's Juanita and no longer two. Don't be confused. You just go to work or don't go to work. Stay at home. You must go out. Don't go to work. Wear a mask, but only if you don't have socks. Keep 1 litre apart, or is it 2 or 3? No one cares. No one listens. Anyway, this goes to 11. Nothing makes sense, does it? Yeah. Who's Rita when she's at home? Everyone's at home.
It's such a nice way to connect, isn't it, as well? But
Yes.
Terrible time. So to get out there and sort of meet people again, I want to mention one person that you've told me about this, because I adore this man, all of his travel programs, all of his history of comedy. You've met Michael Palin. Can we talk about that moment?
Oh yeah, I have. I've always been a great admirer of Palin. Big time, big hero of mine. Yeah, but not so much the comedy or Python. I was never really in. I mean, I've never really watched it. I mean, I've seen bits since. I always liked the Meaning of Life movie and Monty Python, and now for something completely different, film.
Yeah.
I was never like a mega fan of the. Well, I never really watched it. As I said, I can't really sort of judge, but big fan of the travel programs. And I'll watch the box set, which lasts about 4 or 5 months, watching it at breakfast time, lunchtime, when I got spare time, right from the very first one to the more recent ones. And I'm actually on it now. I was watching one over breakfast.
Is it Baghdad? Is it the one in Baghdad?
No, I haven't seen that one. No.
Oh, Iraq. Yeah.
No. This is one of the old ones. This is a Full Circle.
Oh, brilliant.
But I mean, we've used that word synchronicity so many times so far in this podcast, right? But I'm going to say it again because this is absolutely crazy. I mean, there was 3 people I always said I want to meet, heroes of mine, right? You being one, Steve. Obviously.
Oh, obviously, yeah. You're going to say 4 now, aren't you?
Palin was one, and you know, I kind of had this feeling I would not. I didn't really. When you're in show business, there's always a possibility you're going to meet people. And a friend of mine, Dave, who I'd worked with in the 90s, he's in the music business, and he moved to a certain address in London. And he said, "You're not believe this." He said, "Michael Palin just walked past my kitchen window." I said, "What?" He said, he lives opposite. I said, "You joke?" He said, "No, honestly." And over months, he got to know him and spoke. And in the end, he said, "Look, there's going to be a bit of a party, sort of in the street, and this, that, and the other, and like just for the community. But you know, as residents, we can invite friends. We'd like to come." Right. So I drive to London, and you know, the festivities of this kind of street party, I end up sitting outside Michael's house, having a glass of wine. We had a photograph taken in the chat, talking about the water rats. He said, "Oh, my friend Barry Cryer is a water rat. How do you become a water rat then?"
Oh, wow.
I explained to him, and his wife was there. She said, "I saw that emblem on your jacket. I thought that's a water rat, you know." And I said, if you want to come and see the museum, you know, get in touch. So it was just a great, and he was really interested in the
amazing. That's nice.
In the order, and it was a great day. We had, there was barbecues and stalls, and you know, just sitting in the street, Michael Palin Street. So I did that box was ticked. I don't know if there'd be any other situations. I did actually see him another time in a theatre, one of his talks. There I was, sat there outside Michael's house, having a chat, and it was absolutely wonderful to
He's amazing. I mean, the stories he must have. You could just mention a subject, and Michael Palin will tell you. He's been everywhere. He's worked with everybody, and the stories. But I mean, just to be in his presence, that's brilliant.
Absolutely.
I love seeing
very down to earth man. Very down to earth.
Was he? And I love it when there's people that is on Earth, and it scares me when there are people that are not on Earth, like aliens.
Yes, they're on Earth as well.
Yeah. Yes. Do you mind talking about seeing a UFO?
No, not at all.
I love the fact I've spoken to a few people on Eyes and Teeth. Phil Butler, God rest his soul, but he told me the moment he was standing next to his mum. Clacton, in Essex, and they were watching a UFO, and they couldn't believe it. But you've seen this as well.
Oh, I've seen UFOs, aliens, ghosts as physical as we are.
Wow.
Endless things. The thing is, Steve, with this kind of thing, people who have a scientific view will just say that there's not such thing. Now, but you can't really judge any of this stuff until you experience an experience of that nature. And of course, when you do, you know it's not some kind of misty dream or hallucination or imagination. It really is an experience. And some people experience these things, some people don't. So the people who don't, you can imagine why they just think it's all airy-fairy.
Until they do. Yeah. Until they do.
They may never do.
Yeah. My dad was on his, I say he was on his deathbed. He's still with us, but he had 2 heart attacks. And I don't know if he'd ever told my mum before, but he had his heart attacks, and I think he thought that was it. So he was in hospital, and he drew a picture and he coloured it in. It was red. It was basically a UFO. He was telling my mum what he saw when he was 18. My dad was a farmer, and his dad was a farmer, my granddad. So my dad saw a UFO come down in a field, and he was explaining. He said it was like the size of 4 football pitches. It was huge. It came down, and he said it zoomed off really, really fast.
Yeah.
But this was in the late 70s. So how incredible is that? I mean, my dad is so straight-laced. There's no reason why he would make something like this up. He is, if people know my dad, they would go, well, Terry must have seen that, because he's not going to make something silly up like that. And I've brought it up with him, and he's told me, and he survived. So I think he was embarrassed, but he wanted people to know what he saw. And now he's lived through it, even though he drew the picture. But he's actually okay with telling us and saying, yeah, I did see that.
Sometimes these things slip through the net. There's so much that we're not told. And of course, these things happen sometimes, and of course, it's all denied, or this, that, and the other. But there's so much held back. But if we're meant to see something at some point, we see it. It's as simple as that.
So much out there on the news now about UFOs, though, and they're saying basically, just come on, tell us now, tell us. But it would scare the hell out of the human race, wouldn't it?
Well, again, if are things held back for a reason? Are things told for a reason through the media? All one can do is experience their own views and beliefs about these things themselves through intuition and their own heart. But we will get, bombarded with articles and news about what it is. It's up to us to either, accept it or reject it or transform it.
Oh, confusion.
Now, you go down to Glastonbury quite a lot, don't you? And can you talk to me about Stonehenge in Glastonbury? Because it seems like a very peaceful thing to do. And Mike Martin, who's a brother water rat, he's a wonderful guy. He's a musician, and we'll talk about a show that you got coming up very soon. But what is it about being around Stonehenge or Glastonbury that you love?
I've only been to Stonehenge twice. It is mainly Glastonbury and Avebury, but particularly Glastonbury. Okay. I go to Glastonbury 5 times a year. I've been going 5 times a year since 1998. But across the board, Stonehenge, Glastonbury, Avebury, Silbury Hill, these mystical sites, again, people get drawn to them. I'll take you there one day, Steve. I think you'd like Glastonbury. It's a complete, people I've taken there, of course, people think of the festival. That's what they think of.
Of course, that's what they are thinking of now.
Sort of I don't know if quirky is the right word, but you can use it. I'll give myself a permission slip to say quirky, but it's a quirky town. It is a bit of people say a Harry Potter town. It's very old buildings from the 1300s. You would not bat an eyelid of seeing a wizard walk down the street or a witch get on the bus. You've got lovely places surrounding, like Wells, Cheddar Gorge, Wookey Hole. Of course, you've got Bath. But yeah, Glastonbury's, every shop is a sort of a mystical crystal type shop. They're all different. They've got the Glastonbury Tor, which is the big sort of ruin on the big hill, which is the Tor itself. You've got the Abbey, you've got the Chalice Well. I can't really explain why I go, but it's been a big part of my life. And I know it sounds so cliche and repetitive because I've been saying it for so many years. I will move there eventually. All the people I know
Nice.
there just go, "Oh, you've been saying it for 20 years, Kevin." But I will one day. Yeah. So to the
Yeah.
extent where I actually released an album called Glastonbury, dedicated to the
Ah.
place. So even actually, I release things that I'm passionate about. So
Yeah,
cats,
yeah.
Glastonbury, things that I'm interested in, sort of imagery,
Pandemics. Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And that was re-released last year, the Glastonbury CD, the Glastonbury Deluxe Edition. So yeah, and I'm back there in a couple of weeks.
It's such a wonderful area, and you mentioned the Cheddar Gorge, and you mentioned Wookey Hole. Now, I went down to visit when dear Jerry Cottle of Cottle's Circuses was still with us, and last time I went there, he invited me and my family down, and he showed us around, and we enjoyed being at Wookey Hole. Saw the circus show as well, of course, but then he met me at the end of the walk, and took me to the shop. And it gave me a block of cheese. They got some amazing cheese there. It's the best
Yeah.
cheddar I've ever tasted. And he said, Steve, you'll love this. And last time I actually drove through, I stopped outside Wookey Hole to buy a clump of cheese. So
Yeah. Well, you're very near Glastonbury there. Very near Glastonbury.
yeah, now I need to get to Glastonbury next time
Yeah.
I'm passing. I'm doing a lot of Minehead in Butlins this year, so I'm going to swing by. I know I'll be driving past there. So if you're down there at that time, we'll have to do lunch. I've done
That'd be
some
great.
cheese. Yeah.
Yes.
And
Very
the
nice.
Ploughmans. I remember having a Ploughmans with you up near your house.
Yeah, we have had a few Ploughmans, haven't we? We can have a Somerset Ploughmans in Glastonbury one day.
Yeah, I love that. Now the Water Rats is such a wonderful order to be part of. I mean, not only do we raise funds for charity, we've made a lot of friends as well.
Yeah.
And being within the Rats, I mean, you've got surely some guitar heroes in there. Brian May, Chas
course.
McDevitt,
Yeah.
Mr. McDevitt, and Bert Whedon was there. I did work with Bert Whedon once on a charity show, but guitar heroes. I guess.
I did work with Bert a lot of times in the 90s and 2000s because we'd be on the Warner's circuit, and sometimes we'd alternate the Warner's sites. So certain night would be like instrumentalist night, but often there'd be a Warner site next to each other, and he used to come and, if he was on a bit before me or a bit after me, he used to come and look stand at the back and watch my first number, vice versa. So we were on the same circuit. I got to know him, but unfortunately he did pass away before I become a rat, because he was King Rat, wasn't he, Bert Whedon?
Oh, wow.
He was King Rat, and
you just missed it.
yeah. So there's lots of guitarists in the Water Rats, and it is an amazing organisation, order to be part of, and like you say, meet so many friends, so many lovely people within the order, and it's a great social meeting as well, isn't it? Apart from all the fundraising, etc.
It is brilliant. Yeah. I did at one point take everybody over to as many rats as could come. I think there was 8 or 9 of us and some of our partners. We went over to Switzerland and to Charlie Chaplin's house. But this is one thing I've never done. I've been wanting to do it, but Nina she doesn't want me to go to Vegas without her. But you've been to the Las Vegas Lodge.
Yeah, the very first one.
Yeah.
The very first Vegas Lodge. That was back in 2017. And that was absolutely wonderful. And it's not partners, it's just the Rats.
Yes.
And it was just for a week, but it's just a really beautiful experience. It was just a great social get together. Robert Earl looked after us. Robert Earl Senior, Robert Earl Junior. We stayed at Planet Hollywood, which they own, and they looked after us. And it was just an absolute VIP experience. Having the lodge up on the top floor at Planet Hollywood.
Gutted I missed it.
Well, you never know. One day, maybe.
Yeah, we get to go back. If they do another one, I'm going to try my hardest to actually just be there and just tell Nina, you can come if you want, because we got married there and we want to go back there and get our money back. But this is really strange because when I was like 18 years old, Planet Hollywood opened and I took my sister, who is a massive Sylvester Stallone fan. I took her to London. I said, look, Planet Hollywood is opening and you can watch all these stars sort of walking in. And so I took a camera with me and I took pictures of Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis, Demi Moore, Sylvester Stallone. I got a nice picture. And I pushed my sister Karen to the front of the, of the crowd when Stallone was running into Planet Hollywood. And he turned to her and he touched her hand, and she hasn't stopped talking about that to this day. She still loves Stallone. They're connected on Instagram. But it was really weird because I remember standing next to Robert Earl Sr. because on that day he opened Planet Hollywood. And
Oh yeah.
and I was sort of standing there, but I didn't know who he was, but I knew that was him on that day because there was TV cameras around, and I think I said hello to him all way. But there was Danny Glover. I remember all these massive Hollywood celebrities just turning up to the opening of this burger restaurant, and it's sadly not there anymore. I think it's either moved or closed down, but where it was on that corner, that's where the opening was, you know. And I could have had lunch with Robert in Vegas.
Yeah.
But you got to do that.
But we had an amazing dinner at one of his private restaurants on one of the floors at Planet Hollywood, and it was after the lodge. We had the Water Rats Lodge, and then he took us for this meal, and it was just absolutely incredible. I mean, best wine and food you can think of. So they really spoil us.
Yeah, he looked after the rats.
Forever
He is a
thankful
rat.
to them.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. They're both water rats. I believe Robert Senior is a companion. No,
Yes.
Robert Junior is a companion, I think, and I think Robert Senior is a water rat, I believe.
Oh, okay. But it's wonderful to have them in our order, and we've not got many international rats at the moment. We do have Jimmy Osmond, but it'll be nice maybe to branch out and look to see who we can actually get into the order that's international, because we have an international wall. We had Danny Kaye, Laurel and Hardy, and you know those guys, Charlie Chaplin, obviously, but a lot of those guys were British to begin with.
Yes.
Yeah,
They went to Hollywood, yeah.
like Arthur Lager. Something I've not mentioned yet is that you also recorded for me tracks of Rod Vegas. Now, Rod Vegas is my guitar dummy, so he plays the guitar kind of in my act, and he's always been acoustic. So Rod Vegas done a lot of acoustic music, but you've recorded the next step, the upgraded version of Rod Vegas, which is going on tour in 2 weeks, and he's now gone to electric guitar. I pick it up next week. He's got the electric guitar. So all those pieces that you recorded for Rod Vegas about 5 or 6 years ago,
A long time ago, yeah.
they've now made it to the act, and so I'm going to try them out. I hope it works. But
yeah.
I
mean, I vaguely remember there was Sultans of Swing with a bum note, wasn't there?
that's his play on. Yeah.
There was the Flintstones. There was
Flintstones is in.
a few bits and bobs.
Pretty Woman.
Yeah, there was a few full, well, kind of more or less full songs, wasn't there, as well? To sing along to.
Yeah, because Rod can't sing that great. I've edited them down just for the show, but but those pieces now, Kevin Dean is very much part of the tour as well this year. So you'll be part of a lot of my projects on this.
It's always great to work with you.
Oh, it's good fun. I mean, you're just so great at what you do, and you do live shows as well. So you've gone out, you've done live shows, not just charity shows that we do, but paid gigs is what we love and what we need to feed the cats. So you've got a gig coming up with Mike Martin and Warren James. Can you tell us about that show?
Yeah, we've got three. We've got one in Southampton. Yeah, I think it's Hanger Farm. I haven't played Southampton for years. There's a lot of touring around Southampton, all the variety shows and all the sort of clubs in the early to mid 90s with various classic acts. Some who are still with us and some who are not. But good times in the back of the van. We'd go on tour in a caravan or a van and play these venues. Played it real big, good old fashioned variety show. Van in the car park, Curry House after the show.
Lovely.
So I haven't played there since then. So we're doing that. Then we're taking the show. It's called Walk On Back to Happiness.
Brilliant.
Just us three: Mike Martin, Warren James, and myself. And we're doing a couple performances in Devisers in April. But, you know, I literally used to play variety and cabaret and theatre, sort of constant 6 nights a week throughout the 90s, starting in about 1990, summer seasons, your Warners, your Pontings. And I actually officially retired from it in 96, at the grand age of 25. I thought, I've had enough of this.
Really?
Then I sort of got dragged back into it and then gradually doing more and more and more. Then sort of from about 2013, started doing a lot more, some of the hotels, variety theatre. But now I literally just pick and choose the ones I want to do, and it's great, especially when you're on with friends.
Yeah, well, we did Chroma Pier together, didn't we? That was a
That's
great
fantastic.
afternoon.
Yeah, that was one that I just really wanted to do. So yeah, I mean, I do a few a year now. One thing I'd never got into with the cruises. I know so many friends who do the cruise ships, and for a couple of decades now, they're just something I've not wanted to do. I mean, they're great venues. You see great countries and you travel, but I just wanted to do a show and get out of it really, and go home or go to the hotel rather than being stuck. I know you can do fly in, fly out, and people have said, Kevin, you're absolutely mad. Been offered these amazing.
You enjoy the views of
maybe-
Suffolk, though, don't you? And
Yeah, maybe the-
Glastonbury. You're happy.
Maybe the Norfolk Broads I could do first, and then
Yeah,
that'd be a small one first, and then on a little boat.
just
And,
work on barges, just to
Yeah,
test the water, so to speak.
yes, exactly. Plus, I can't swim.
No. Well, good luck with those shows. I really love to try and catch one of them. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I'm in the area, but I think I do hang a farm, Southampton, a week after you do, you guys. So leave me some Pringles if you can.
I will do. Yeah.
So what we were in the Water Rats, weren't we, one time, and you brought this wonderful gentleman in, and he was the wild, crazy antics of Ross Lee. Let's basically just say he's such a wonderful character. He's like a live cartoon, isn't he, Ross Lee? You introduced me
Ross
to
Lee.
him.
It is Ross
Yeah.
Lee. I think
Yeah.
that's the only way you can describe
There's
it.
no one like him. I love the guy, his persona, his aura. Now, you just introduced me to him at the Water Rats pub, and we had such a laugh. I just sat there going, I love this guy. Who is this guy? And then I Googled him when I got home, and you told me you were working on a project with him. And I know Ross has been on this show, and I've, played a lot of his music on that show. But tell me a little bit about Ross.
Ross feels to me like an old school friend from the 80s. Whenever I see him, it just feels I've known him for years. I've only known him for about 3 or 4 years. Actually, I've known him online over about 12 years. I first saw him on his own show called The Pranker, which is a hidden camera program.
Channel 4.
And I just almost looked beyond the pranks and thought, this guy is really got something here. He's so funny and so cosmic. And I think we connected on Facebook in about 2011. And over the years, sort of got to know him, and I put some guitar to some of his music, and he said, Kev, that's really great. And eventually we developed our own songs, and we did Cast Out, Old Hag.
Yeah.
We're sort of working on other ones and other bits and bobs. A couple of instrumentals we did a few years ago. But he just is an absolutely amazing spirit, I think.
He's got a great CV, hasn't he? I mean,
he's done so much.
During the lockdown, he made a lockdown movie with Judd Apatow. So Judd saw his work. He got the audition. He got the part.
Big Hollywood film.
It was a great big Hollywood film. And it's very funny, very...
Called The Bubble.
I think it's The Bubble, that's right. It's going to be a cult movie, I reckon. I mean, it's going to be one of those movies that come back and people go, wow, I didn't know about this film. And it's a great piece of artwork, really, isn't it? For movie.
I haven't seen it because I don't have I don't have Netflix.
Oh, okay. No,
so when I get Netflix, or if I can see it on DVD, I've seen bits of it. Ross was showing me.
Ross is great.
Some clips.
His character's brilliant in it.
Oh yeah, well I've seen the clips and it looks fantastic. So yeah, Ross is a pleasure to work with and to meet up with, and we did have a great time, us three, at the Water Rats, didn't we? Back in.
It was great. Yeah, Steve Rawlings was there as well.
He was, yeah, another brilliant act.
Yeah, we love Steve.
Yeah, I would say recording with Ross has been fantastic. He recorded his vocals in London, and there's a lot of projects really I record, like with yourself, Steve. Earlier on, we're talking about 2 Meter Peter, where you recorded your vocals at your place and send them over. I recorded a track several years back called Saint Germain, which was a very spiritual number, partly recorded in New York by Francine Vale, and that's quite a big seller of mine called Saint Germain by Energy of Love. Music recorded here, put together, but people do come here to record. The latest act I'm working on is an act called Percy's Pulse.
Oh, right.
And they come to me. There's Steve and Tony, and Tony is the father of the Rag and Bone Man.
Right.
The
brilliant.
Selling.
I'm only human.
Yeah,
that
star
one.
and
Well, nothing like
fantastic
that.
singer. So working with Percy's Pearls, and it keeps me busy every week. We're working together. I think they're on about their eighth single now. So recording and producing is not something I pushed. It just snowballed. People,
Just happens.
oh, you produced this. Well, Kevin, well, can you produce our? Can you do this? And it does keep me very busy, apart from releasing my own stuff as well.
Word of mouth. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
What is it?
But-
You're such a whiz, though, aren't you? In the studio, you know what you do. You know your music. You know your equalizing, all that stuff, all those knobs and stuff. It would just freak me out.
The
I wouldn't know where
frequency
to
of
start.
things.
Frequency, yeah. So, Kevin, I remember seeing a lovely piece. I don't know if it was one of the Shadows or someone that come to see you, loved what you did, but you were a young guitarist and you got to work with one of your heroes. And so was it one of the Shadows that you...
It was. What it was Jet Harris, the original bass
course.
player,
Wow.
yeah, who actually named the Shadows the Shadows. He was the sort of wild legend of the Shadows, really. And it was 1989, and he would be advertising at that time in the Stage. Remember the Stage and television newspaper that we were
Yes.
all been in at some point several times over the years, I'm sure. And I said to my dad, I said, Fav, I said, ring Jet Harris up and ask him if he want to appear on my record. And he did, and spoke to his manager, who was his wife at the time, or common law wife. And just to sort of move forward a bit, he came down to Lowestoft to record a single called Cloud 9 that I've been working on, appeared on it. And of course, that attracted the BBC, Look East, it attracted radio interviews, all the press. This, I think he was about 50 at the time, 49, 50-year-old Shadows legend making a record with 16-year-old guitarist Kevin Dean. What really gets me is my father would be seeing Cliff and the Shadows at the ABC in Great Yarmouth, probably screaming girls, equivalent to people going to see Take That now, you know.
Yeah.
The next thing, 20 years later or whatever, maybe 25 years later, he is sat in my father's lounge having tea and cake.
Wow. Amazing.
So more so from my father, it must have been totally surreal to have Jet Harris from the Shadows.
Yeah, well, an amazing and proud moment for him, you know, for his son to be doing this.
Yeah, and I got to know Jet over the years. I worked with him a couple more times, and the record that we made appeared on a compilation album of his. And then I was invited by his fan club to appear at his 70th birthday party in Western Supermere at the Winter Gardens.
Fantastic.
And people have travelled from all around the world to see this Jet Harris concert, but Jet didn't know I was going to appear. And it was turned into a DVD, it was filmed, and it started off with the compare, the Jet Harris fan club, Dave Holbrook, showing this slideshow including the Beatles and Eddie Cochran and all. And the last picture came up was me and Jet in 1989.
Wow.
And Dave said, at this point, Jet's in the audience. Remember, it's his birthday concert. People have come to see it. And Dave Holbrook said, Jet, that young man there, can you remember him? Jet go, yeah. He said, well, he's here tonight. And I walked on stage. I had to be kept locked away in the dressing room.
Yeah.
I walked out and did 25-minute spot.
Lovely. What a moment.
Jet. And that was the last time I saw him, unfortunately, because he did pass away in 2011. So what an absolute honour to get to know Jet Harris.
That's brilliant. I mean, it's equivalent of me working with Ron Lucas, you know, which
Exactly,
I got to
which you
do.
did,
And
yeah.
I met him when I was a kid, and then I worked with him when I was an adult. So what a lovely moment to actually, you know, full circle, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but
nice, isn't it?
it absolutely, but it doesn't stop there. I mean, then years on, because of the Water Rats, I get to work with another Shadow, Mr. Cliff Hall, keyboard player with the Shadows from 1977 to 2004, and Cliff being an absolute genius pianist, keyboard player, arranger. He is a Water Rat, and we played together at the Shepperton Rats and Ratlins gathering back in, I think it was 2019.
Brilliant.
So again, synchronicity.
I missed that. Yeah.
I always believe you attract situations that you're really passionate about, and of course, the Shadow's been a big part of my life growing up. Who'd have thought it that I'd end up being on stage
With two of them.
With Jet and Cliff Hall.
That's fantastic. You need to make it a hat trick, surely, with Hank Marvin.
Yeah, or Bruce Welsh. Who knows? So
Or
that's
Bruce Welsh, of course.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely pleasure to do that, and a great honour. Yeah.
Oh, well done, mate. That's so nice. It will be so nice to meet up again with you if I'm passing. I don't think I've got any gigs near you. Oh, I do have a couple of Norfolk dates, actually.
You're playing at the Fisher Theatre. I've worked there a few
I've got
times.
Bungay, Fishy Theatre, Bungay.
Fishy Theatre, Bungay, yeah.
Fishy Theatre, the Fisher Theatre, yeah.
Fishy Theatre.
A bit fishy. It's on the near the tugboat.
Near the docks, yeah.
So you're so hopefully I'll see you there, because I do love a bit of cheese and wine. I know you're a great host, and I've been to a cheese and wine party at yours before.
Yeah.
Loved it. I just ate the cheese, crackers,
You did.
drank the wine. It was a great night, that.
I remember that. You came after your performance at Warner's.
I was at a Warner's gig I was doing. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Well, listen, Kevin, you're brilliant company, mate. It's really nice to always hang around with you and work with you. And thank you for everything that you've done for us. It's been nice working with you, because you make me feel like a professional. I'm working with a real producer, and you produce some really great music and fun. It's really fun working with you, because
Likewise.
the projects are fun, aren't they?
We've had some great laughs, haven't we? We really have some real good laughs working together, and
Yeah.
may it continue.
Hopefully I'll see you at the next couple of lodges. I am planning to go to all the lodges so far, unless I get the Raw Variety show and I can't do a Sunday, I might not be able to make it. Or, if I get a £20,000 gig, I might not be. But at the moment, I should be at all of the lodges in King's Cross this year. So hopefully I'll see you at the next one or two. It'd be really nice to hang out properly, because when there are loads of people there, we don't normally get to talk too much, but I do like hanging out with you. So we need to do that next time.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll hang out.
You're brilliant. I'm a little bit scared about hanging out with you too much, because I think some of the rats said, and Ross Lee a couple of weeks ago said, he had us up till 4:30 a.m. and that was you that instigated that. You're a party animal.
Well, it's Mike Martin, me, and Ross. It just time goes so quick.
Yeah, of course it does when you're having fun. And if you are a party animal, it's definitely going to be a cat.
Well, last time, yeah. Absolutely. We get all the cats, all the stray cats off the street, the grand order of water cats and water rats. Last time it was me, Fraser Hines, Ross,
yes,
and Mike, us four. We ended up drinking till the early hours of the morning, putting the world to right, and it was fantastic. And,
what a super group, though.
Yeah, Fraser,
Yes.
Ross, Mike,
Right.
and myself.
That'd be a nice little group at the Water Rats Ball. Not a bad idea.
Yeah, we're back to the Water Rats Ball this year, first one since 2019.
I booked the date off months ago. Can't wait for the ball. I'm probably going to stay over for the first time. I've never done that, but it's our 18th wedding anniversary, me and Nina. So I believe we deserve to stay over in the hotel, or a hotel, if there is a premiere in round the corner. But I can't wait for that night, mate. At least we'll get to hang out there and be brilliant. Kevin Dean, I don't want to say thank you for being on Eyes and Teeth. Thank you for being Eyes and Teeth.
Oh, well, maybe I'll play a little version of the theme tune live.
Acoustically, that'll be amazing.
Unplugged.
Let's hear it for the one and only unplugged Kevin Dean on Eyes and Teeth.
Yes, before the podcast started this morning, I thought, can I remember how to play Eyes and Teeth? And I listened to it, and it soon came back to me. Here we go.
Thanks to Kevin Dean for his time today. We always have a great laugh and have a few events coming up, as well as the Grand Order of Water Rats Lodges. We have the annual ball and some rat shows to look forward to. Check out www.gowr.net for the events. You can contact Kevin Dean at kevindean@live.co.uk, especially if you like guitar lessons and if he can fit one in. Today's quote comes from Hank Marvin, talking about guitars. We decided that the Fender was the way to go, because we'd seen Buddy Holly with one on the Cricket's album cover. We're all inspired in one way. Thanks for listening to Eyes and Teeth. Please download, share it with your friends and enjoy every episode. Over 200 interviews across 3 years. Eyes and Teeth is written, produced and hosted by Steve Hewlett. Vocals by Lola, Larissa and Nina Hewlett. Additional vocals by Rich T. The Eyes and Teeth music and jingles are produced by you-know-who, the one and only Kevin Dean. Join me on the next edition of Eyes and Teeth, the world's greatest variety show, Season 15, when I will be talking to the one and only Bobby Davro.